and welcome to Cheryl's Whimsy Wednesday Facebook Live recording. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in South Australia, and this is my 50th Facebook Live in my Stampin' Up! Group on Facebook. The project today features a new product from the Tropical Oasis suite in the 2020 Stampin' Up! Mini catalogue. Now, by nature, my Facebook Lives are rambly because I'm talking to people as I go along and you can't see the comments on this YouTube video. So the fast forward button is your friend. And in some places I've cut myself off and fast forwarded the video to save your sanity. Here's the project we'll be creating today. Thanks for watching, and if you would like to join in on the live presentations and our chatting, then hop on over to Cheryl's Stampin' Up! Group on Facebook and join the group so you get notifications of when I will be going live. The lives are all I do in this group, so you won't get a heap of other notifications from it. So here we go. So, as I was saying, this is my 50th live. I'm going to be creating for the Colour Inspirations Colour Challenge. How are you, Jody? For the Colour Inspirations Colour Challenge, and their Colour Challenge, I'll just grab the ink pads, tonight, or this fortnight, are, get around the right way. Let me see if you can see them. Grapefruit Grove, Mint Macaron, and Gorgeous Grape, plus white. So that's what we're creating with. So pineapple did not really go with those colours. So we're going to use the hibiscus instead. So there we go. Okay, so the right way up look at this set is it's Timeless Tropical. It does come in a bundle with the In the Tropics dies. So that's the one that has this beautiful big pineapple and all these lovely tropical type images. So it has been very tropical here today, so this is probably quite appropriate for creating with today. So we're also going to be using the, they don't put the name on them, so I have no idea what it's called. Someone might be able to tell me what this is called. So let's get started, and we'll do this bit first because this is the background. I think, thank you very much, Chrissy. I think we're going to be using white, because white's part of the challenge colour. So I've got some thick Whisper white here, and I also have my spritzer. So I'll bring the Big Shot in so you can see what I'm doing. Right, Big Shot. So the Big Shot has on it the base plate, and I'm using the embossing plate, which is the blue plate. So this is the plate that you use with the new style 3D embossing folders. So I'm going to give this a bit of a spritz. That was probably a little bit close, but I'm working within the confines of my camera. All right, so we've got a nice damp piece of cardstock. And pop it into here. Hinge first onto the base plate, blue plate over the top, and run it through. And this is what you end up with. See all that lovely texture in there, and see how deep it is once you give it a bit of a spritz. It doesn't come out quite that deep if you don't spritz it. This is a crumb cake one that I did without spritzing. Still pretty good, even without spritzing, but just the spritzing seems to give it a little bit more depth. Now, for the next element, I'm going to use the Stamparatus. In the Tropical suite of products, there's another ink pad that Stampin' Up! Have added to their range. Now, I just quickly went into my old stash and found a Stays-On ink pad that was brown because I didn't want to use black. Hello, Bridget. So I've pulled out one that is not saddle brown. It is called Timber Brown, so it's a bit darker. Probably the saddle brown would be better because it's a lighter brown, and I was really wanting to aim for a lighter colour in my images, which is why I didn't want to use stays on black. The two images that I'm going to use are the larger hibiscus image and the leaf, this one here, which is also quite a largish leaf, goes well with that flower. So I'm also going to use, because we're going to watercolour and I want to stamp and get a clear image as well, I'm going to use the shimmery white. Shimmery white card is very forgiving with water, a lot more forgiving than the Whisper White card, but it does stamp up a nice image. Especially this is, I don't know if you can see this, but it's got quite a lot of fine detail in it, which is not really going to come up very well on watercolour paper. Even with the new watercolour paper that is a little bit finer than the one we used to have, it still, believe me, I tried it, it still doesn't quite give you that same amount of detail. Note to self, be more careful with your magnets. I'm just going to pop this down onto my shimmery white card. We'll pick it up. Now remember, I'm using timber brown, but the brown that comes in the catalogue is actually saddle brown. I've got a little bit of something on there, not sure what that is. Oops. Jody, this is the bit you don't throw away. All right. So we'll just do one. For the project I'm going to use two, I think, but I've already done them, so drama. Now that's not very, I have re-inked this because it has been sitting away in the cupboard for a long time. So because we've used the Stamper Artist, we can add another layer over the top. And there we've got all that lovely fine detail. Now, if you're using StazOn, even the new StazOn, any StazOn, you'll need a StazOn cleaner to take that ink off. So while we're here, we may as well do the leaves so I can do those at the same time. So I've determined that I'll need 3, but I've already done them and cut them out. So we'll just do 1 for the sake of time. And I'm doing that one in the saddle brown as well. And it needed to be done once. I'll need an aqua painter and a piece of paper towel. So I've got some blocks here. I'll use my blocks as palettes instead of the lid of the ink pad. The colours that we're going to use are Mint Macaron. Now with the Mint Macaron, if you apply it to a palette and then try and pick it up, it is really, really light. So what I did with the other ones, I probably don't need as much here, was I applied a small drop of re-inker. I don't need much this time because I'm only doing 1 leaf. So just a small amount of re-inker, and is that clean? Had a little bit of green in it. And then just add some water with you. And then colour it in. Now, that's probably a little bit light. Where's that re-inker? Let's add a touch more. Oops. And that's probably too much, but you know. Just try and zoom you in. Okay. Mix that up, and then that's a bit better. I'm not too concerned about whether I go right to the edge or not. It is going to be die cut. I might just clean that little bit up there. And it does have a white border around the outside. Right, so that's my Mint Macaron leaf. So that's the Mint Macaron colour out of the colour scheme. The other 2 colours were Gorgeous Grape and Grapefruit Grove. So we will add some to each block. We don't need quite as much of the gorgeous grape. Now there is a stamen in the middle of this flower, and I'm going to try and leave the stamen white. I think that's what that's called, isn't it? Isn't it? I'm sure someone will tell me if it's not, but I call it a stamen. The thing with the things on the end that goes in the middle of the flower, I'm going to leave that the colour of the background card, so cream or white or whatever. And the rest of the flower is going to be orange and grapefruit grove. I'm going to start off with the grapefruit grove. Let me bring this in here a little bit. Right, so add a little bit of water to your palette so it's not too strong when you put it on. And then I'm just going to colour the outside. I'm going to use the grapefruit grove, not the grapefruit grove. All these G's, the gorgeous grape in the middle. Where that texture is, basically. Trying not to go over the stamen. There we go, and that just looks pretty disgusting. So we'll fix that by bringing back in. You couldn't walk away and leave this at this moment, because if that dries too much you won't be able to blend it. But if you come back in with your gorgeous grape and just blend into that, grapefruit grove, and blend into the gorgeous grape. And the good thing about the shimmery white cardstock is that it does hold the colour, the water, quite well. Now this is meant to look watercoloured, so if it's a little bit patchy, it doesn't matter. Now let's dry that off, because once that dries back it'll fade back a little bit. And we've got some watercolour type marks around it, and that's fine because it's meant to look watercoloured. So that one's pretty dry too. So let me clean these off. So now we've got our three colours: the gorgeous grape, the grapefruit grove, and the mint macaron. We've incorporated the white with the white rattan. So basically we've covered our colours, and it's just really a matter of putting it all together. So these will need to be die cut, so I'll bring the big shot in again and we'll quickly die cut those. I'm going to be working on a white folded card. The flower stamen in a hibiscus is either the same colour as the flower or yellow. Well, I actually did go in and see if there was such a thing as an orange and purple hibiscus, and there is, and I did notice that the stamen was orange. And you know what, Colleen, I could probably paint that orange because it'll stand out because it's got purple all around it, I guess. So here are the other two that I did. So now I've got three. So I suppose I could paint them orange. Very dark orange. All right, I'll do it. Just because you said so, Colleen. It's your fault if it all goes disastrous. Where's that block? This one will do. Right. So instead of using my aqua painter, I'm going to use my blender pen because I've got much more control with that. Probably going to have to go in with a black pen and draw some more. This one might be a bit better because it's in amongst the purple. Where I'm just going to quickly dry those, and then I'm going to come in and intensify some of the outline so we can actually see them. So we're going to use these two. Oh, they're hot. And I'll just grab my Stampin' Right marker, the fine end. Oh yeah, it works. And I'm just going to... You need to be in close up to see what I'm doing here. Okay, you just love gardening. All right, so now they stand out a little bit more with that little bit of dark in the center. Okay, so now we have the anatomically correct hibiscus flower. The white rattan is going to go on the white cardstock, the white folded card. So am I going to put ribbon around this? No. Let's just glue that on. All right, so now we've got these leaves. Now this is the one that I did, but I do have a heap of others here. I think we'll just use 3, but I do have lots. This is all looking a little, it's quite realistic. Now I'm going to take it to a different realm. Last week I spoke about the Majestic Mountain dies, and we used this tree die, and I said that I thought it would make a lovely ferny foliage. Just going to grab a mint macaron sponge, and I have die cut a heap of these Majestic Mountain trees, so I'll just bring those in. So I die cut these earlier, so they just run through. I've die cut them onto mint macaron card. done them all. They all look a little bit different. Cool. Right, so I think I've got 7. So we'll just see how many we might need here. Now, what I did was, I've got lots cut here. When I cut them shorter, and then I went along one side and I just cut, because they're attached in some places, I just cut along one side so that made them a little bendy. So if I want to bend them, then I have the ability to, you know, they're a little bendy. So if they don't look quite, they look a bit funny all straight, I can actually bend them into shape. So we'll do that in a second. Okay, so now we'll glue the flowers down with, we might glue one down flat and the other one with dimensional. So this one here can be flat, but I won't put glue right to the edges because I want to be able to tuck those leaves underneath. Now, should the stamens go any particular way, Colleen? I don't think it really matters. Hold it for a minute. And then this one we might pop up with a couple of dimensionals. Do I have any dimensionals? Probably not. We're going to have to use the edges. Oops, that's the one I glued on. So again, I'll just put these in the middle. Something like that. Now I'll glue these other bits down in a minute. I just want to get these little leaves tucked in underneath. I need a little bit of space here for the greeting. Alright, so now we can wibble wobble these and put them where we want to. Have I got enough glue dots left? Alright, so I just don't want them to be straight, is all. I just want them to be a little bit curvy. So this is a very cute little hello, and if I was really tricky I could actually die cut the aloha and put them both together, but we'll just use hello. What am I going to stamp that on? What am I going to stamp that on? I'll have to grab some white cardstock. We'll actually use a block. So we'll try and get it a bit straight, and to tone in with the other because I stamped this in brown, I'm going to stamp it in the same brown. Oh, I've got lots of card here. Right, let's go down, hold, and release. Okay, I'll clean it off in a minute, promise. And then I'll put just a couple of dimensionals underneath the petals now that we're all glued down. This is moving a little bit, so I'm just going to grab one more glue dot. Hopefully I've got one more glue dot. Yes. And see how that's lifting that leaf when I pull the, so the dimensional stuck to the leaf, but the leaf wasn't stuck down. So now the leaf's stuck down. It's not pulling up. Right. And that's it. That's my card. Done and dusted. Thank you for watching all the way through to the end and for putting up with my lame attempts at humour. I've put the link to my Facebook group in the video description below, so if you'd like to join us for my next Facebook Live, pop on over, join the group, and you'll get notifications when I will next be live, usually on a Wednesday. Thanks and bye.